everyone. Sorry about the slight delay there. We were having a little bit of technical difficulties. I'd like to introduce you, or thank you for coming to office hours, and welcome you to the Kineo office hours, and we're glad you're able to attend today's presentation. So as Amber said, my name is Tammy Belgard, and I am also a Kineo platform consultant, and my job is to assist clients with their implementation and training. And I know you're used to Taylor Craig as being the usual presenter for office hours, but today I have the privilege of showing you a custom plugin by Kineo. So let me start with giving you a little background on what office hours are. Office hours start with a 15-minute presentation on a Totoro featured plugin. Followed by 45 minutes of open floor discussion where I can take your questions and have discussions while attending clients. So the 45-minute discussion is open only to the Kineo clients, but the 15-minute presentation will be made available for anyone, and you can watch it on the YouTube videos. So get started here. What we're going to talk about today is the carousel block. This is a little bit off the usual office hours type of plugin, and that is because it's a cool development that the Kineo team has been working on. And if you're not a Kineo client, this may just be what you need to have you call Kineo for a hosting solution. If you are a Kineo client and you don't have the carousel block, please talk to your sales rep and begin the process for getting the carousel on your site. So this is what we're going to be looking at today. We're going to take a look at what the user sees when they sign on to the site, and we're going to then, after that, we're going to take a look at configuring the block and how to add images to the block. I think you'll really like it. It's very easy to use. Like I said before, if you're hosting with Kineo and you don't have the carousel block installed on your site, just remember it's a customized block and you'll have to contact your sales rep for that information. So having said that, we're going to get started here. One thing I want to say is, since this is one of my first times doing this and I'm having some difficulties with the webinar, I'm going to try just for a minute here to make sure I can see if you have questions and so forth. So in the chat area down there, if you have questions, feel free to ask any questions in that chat area. If I don't catch it right away, I will be looking at it every once in a while. Are you ready to go forward? Okay. I wish I could hear you all right now. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to sign on first as a learner. So I'm going to sign on as a learner. So once your learner has signed on, or a user, what they're going to see in this particular presentation is they're going to see the carousel block displayed at the top part of the screen. Now what I did was I did dock the different blocks that were alongside so we could just focus on the particular carousel block here. You'll notice that there's 3 different slides that are available, and as it goes through the different slides, they have the option, because I've designed it that way, that I can click on the picture or the image and it will take me to a particular site. This particular one, it actually takes me to a secondary site and leaves my Totoro site open. So I can click back on it and it'll take me back into the site. It's really nice that you can even put, textual-based images on the background if you want to give more information. The other thing you can do is actually link to documents or articles that are within the Totoro site. So I'm going to click on this picture, and this one will actually take me to a community forum that is in this particular Totoro site. So I can go in here as a user. I'm in the discussion forums and I can add to the discussion topic. This particular one, I have it opening in the same window. So if I want to get back to the home page, I can just click on home. It takes me back, and then we see this screen. You'll notice that the images will rotate automatically to the different pictures and images. They can also do it manually by clicking on the different dots that are below the screen, as well as using arrow keys on the left and the right-hand side. We believe that this feature is going to be an enhancement to any of the sites that you have in with Kineo. So this is what the look and feel looks like for the user, and what we're going to do now is we're going to take a look under the hood. And so this is what I am looking at when I sign on as an administrator. Now as an administrator, the first thing that you have to do if you're going to add the Kineo or the carousel block, you have to sign on to edit mode for the front page. So I'm going to install this on the front page. I do want to make note of this. Is you install it usually on the front page, but you do have the option to install it on course pages as well. That is an option for you. So the first thing you would do is you have to come over here to the front page settings and you would turn the editing on. I've already got it on, but this is where you would do it. Edit settings, edit the settings for the front page, what you're going to have on it. Turn editing on, actually turns the edit mode on so that you can edit the different blocks that you have installed. So right here in the middle is the Kineo block, the carousel block. But I'm going to go down here and show you how to add the carousel block. So if I click on the add block, I can go down here and find carousel. Now remember carousel, the Kineo carousel block starts with a K, just like Kineo. It added the block here down at the bottom. And then I can click on the gear and it'll take me into the configuration page of the Kineo block, or carousel block. I've already got it confused, and so for the rest of this time we're going to probably hear Kineo block, but it's a carousel block. At this point I'm going to delete the carousel block because I've already got the one up at the top that we're going to look at for configurations. So on the carousel block, I'm going to click on the gear, click Configure Carousel Block. Now when we get into configuring it, you'll notice that I don't have a title on it, and you don't need to have a title on it. That's an option. Whether you want it to display at the very top of the carousels or the images, you can do that. The other thing is where this block appears. This particular on this page, which is the front page, I have it in the middle. Now this is one of those things that we've designed so that you can have this as a major feature of your front page. Most blocks are only on your left or your right-hand side, but the carousel block we can actually put in the middle and make that your main view focal point. So once you're in here, I'm going to click on Manage Carousel. Now we're into the configuration of the carousel block. You'll notice that there's actually 6 tabs at the very top. You have your settings, your image property, and your template. Those we will configure for you. You don't have to worry about entering in certain text or coding. All you need to worry about is the images. So if we click on Image, this is where I have set up the images. All the images or the slides that you put in here will display on this page, along with the property information for each one of those images. The other thing that you'll notice is that you have the action buttons. Now the action buttons, you can do more configuration or editing of your slide. You can delete your slide. You may want to just hide your slide, that you might use it later and you want it there but you're not going to use it yet. And you can change the order that your slides will display. All right, I'm going to take a look at the first one. So I want you to know that the actual image of the slide, it's going to be unique to your theme. Your theme settings and the size of your slide will correlate. And so we will let you know the size that it needs to be. If you want your image set up and created by our directions, we would be happy to do that for you, and we will work with you on these particular needs that you have. So for this one, you can either click or you can either drag in an image, or you can actually choose a file. It has to be enabled in order for it to actually do the automation part of it. And the image title here, when you hover over the image, you should see that image title displayed. You can set any link that you want to in here. So wherever you want to direct that image, you can put that in here. The new Windows code, this is critical if you want it to open up in a different window. So it has to be target equals blank, just as it's set up here, in order for it to open up in a new window. Now the image title and the link and the new window code, these are all optional. You can just load up your image and have nothing else in there if you don't want to. So these are things that you can add to it, and if you want to, you can come back and edit it later. Maybe you want to change the link, maybe you want to change the image. All of those are highly configurable. I'm going to take a look at this particular slide. Now this is the image that we basically said that we wanted it to link into a file that we have, or the forms that we have on our site. So you can see right here it's just actually a form, that activity that we have in our site, and we just went up on the top on the URL when we got to the location of our form or our article or whatever you want. We click and save that, and then we load that into the link location. I want to add one other thing here, that you have to make sure that whatever you're linking the user to, that they have access to it. So if you're going to put it in a course that they're not enrolled in, it's going to get an error message that they don't have permission. This particular form is actually on the front page, and we've got it hidden so that you just don't see it on the front page, but yet the user can link on it and get to it. So whenever you do anything as far as linking to articles, always test it, make sure it's available to all the users that you think are going to be clicking on it. On this one, we have it opening up in the same windows, so you will not see any new window code. I'm going to click on the Home button. One of the questions we do get asked about the carousel is people want to know is, how do I get the text? If I want text on these images, how do I get that to be displayed on there, or how do I get the user so that they can link on it? Actually, the image on these particular ones have to be embedded into that image. So it's going to be part of that image, and then they would just click on that image as a whole in order to get to it. So you can't put text on top of the image, but you can actually embed it in the image. And again, like I said before, the Kineo AD team would be happy to assist you with that. I'm going to go back into it one more time, and we're just going to take a moment and we're going to add one. So again, like I said before, we hit the configure, we go in here, we click on the manage carousel, click on the image button or tab. Down at the bottom we can add an image, so we're going to click on add an image. So for this one, I'm just going to click and I'm going to drag an image onto the screen. I'm going to type in what I want displayed. I'm going to add a link. And I want it to display in a new window. There's my image, my link, all the information that I typed in there. Now I'm going to go check it out, and I'm going to click on the Home button. As soon as I've added that image in there and hit the Save Changes, you'll notice that that image is already going to be on the screen slider. So if I click on the last one, there's my image. I can click on it. Now, based on what I put in there, it should open up in a new window. And there's my new window. And I can close it and go back to my main screen. Okay, well that actually is our presentation. It was just a little demonstration of what the carousel block could do. I want to thank you for joining us for the carousel presentation today. And now what we'll do is we'll go from the presentation to questions, question and answer time. If you have any questions, it doesn't have to be pertaining to the carousel block. It can be something else. We would be happy to answer any questions that you have.